2 minutes before my train arrived, I noticed my left sneaker was soaked in red. The fabric underneath was the same. Then I saw it. A small dot on my ankle. I had just been hiking in a forest. How was there blood on my shoe? Should I see a doctor? Something had been feeding on me for hours, and I had no idea. Let me back up. It was my last day in Sydney. The sun had finally come out after a few days of rain. Before my flight home the next morning, I decided to do my favorite thing. Take public transit to a local forest and go hiking. Lucky for me, Sydney has its own nature sanctuaries. My destination was Lane Cove National Park, conveniently reachable by train from the CBD, Sydney's city center. Here is my plan. From the CBD, take the T9 train north to Chtonobdella station. After a 10-minute walk, I will enter the park via Devlin's Creek Trail. Then, after a 40-minute hike east, I will reach the Lane Cove River Trail. From there, walk northwest through the park, and finish at the Thorning station for the train back. A direct 40-minute ride, no transfers. Simple and peaceful. Is it? As the train heads further from the city, the carriages get quieter. Fewer and fewer passengers. Just the forest drifting past the window on calm February morning. Chtonobdella station has no turnstiles, but remember to tap out on the Opal reader before you leave. Otherwise you will be charged the maximum fare. From there, a short walk down Day Road leads to the park entrance. Wait, at the entrance, there's a sign. No dogs. Guess why? I will come back to that in a moment. The hike begins. Devlin's Creek Trail is wider than I expected, and paved, easy to walk on. It's quiet this Saturday morning. Occasionally a cyclist passes. That's all. The forest here is classic Australian bush. Eucalyptus trees, ferns, and low scrub on both sides. Those orange and white trunks shed their bark every year. The smooth patches underneath are what's left behind. A few minutes in, I notice the trail runs alongside a creek. The recent rain has caused it to swell, sending water spinning across the path. Sometimes there are stepping stones, sometimes there aren't. I do my best to hop across, but I still end up with soggy sneakers. And here's another 1080 fox poison sign. I've already passed a few on this trail. So what's 1080? Sodium fluoroacetate is a powerful toxin that occurs naturally in many Australian plants. After millions of years evolution, native animals have developed a natural tolerance to it. But for introduced species, it's lethal. There's no antidote. The park uses 1080 to control invasive animals like foxes and white dogs. The poison baits are buried in the ground, and a domestic dog could easily find one before you'd even notice. For a dog, that would be fatal. After about 40 minutes, I reached Lane Cove River, where the paved trail ends, and something else begins. There are a few signs here. One of them is a big red X. I look at the trail beyond it. Google Maps tells me this is a Lane Cove River trail. Maybe the wrong way sign is meant for cyclists, not hikers. In any case, it's the only path to Thorny Station. So I continue. The trail is a different world. No more pavement. Narrow. Uneven. A couple minutes in, it becomes even more primitive. Wet sand, mud, and rocks scattered across the path. The vegetation presses in close on both sides. I'm completely alone. I'm scared for a moment. Then the trail pulls me in. 16 minutes in, the trail disappears into water and mud. Okay, I don't think I can go across there anymore. Okay, so I will turn around. I made it back to Chetland Station without incident. The train was due in a few minutes. I sat on the platform and looked down. My left slicker was red, but the train came. I had to get on. The first thing I did was send a photo to Gemini. The verdict: a classic leech bite. I had never seen it, never felt it attach, never felt it feed. It crawled up my sneaker, found a gap at the top, and worked its way in. Land leeches in Australia don't need water to survive. They live in damp leaf litter on the forest floor, and they actively hunt by sensing the heat and vibrations of passing footsteps. Leeches secrete two things when they bite: an anesthetic, so you feel nothing, and an anticoagulant, so the blood keeps flowing long after they detach. By the time I noticed the stain on my sneaker, the leech was already gone. I got off the train, walked back to my hotel, and washed my sneakers. Surprisingly, when I put them on the next morning for my flight back to Canada, they were dry, mostly. Even at the airport, waiting for my flight, I was still fascinated by what had happened. So I kept researching. First, could this be a tick bite? In North America, ticks can cause Lyme disease. But in Australia, ticks are not known to transmit human diseases. Besides, ticks burrow into your skin and stay attached for days. They don't cause the immediate, heavy bleeding I saw. That's a leech signature. And leeches themselves are not known to transmit diseases either. They are far less dangerous than mosquitoes. Still, you may want to avoid all of this. If you're hiking any bush trail in Australia after rain, wear long socks tucked over your pants. Stay on the path, as leeches prefer the white margins and thick undergrowth on the sides. DEET-based repellent on your socks and shoes also helps. the same kind you'd use for mosquitoes. If you do get bitten, don't panic. A leech bite is harmless. If it's still attached, slide a fingernail under it to detach it cleanly. The bleeding looks dramatic, but stops on its own. Will I visit Lane Cove National Park again? Absolutely. The park is a genuine escape from the city. And those creeks running through the forest, unlike anything I've seen anywhere else. And the train ride is easy and scenic. But these relaxing trains can be full of dramas too. That's what this Transit Nightmare series is about. If you want to see more stories like this one, subscribe. See you next time.